late. Now the early is 3 through 7.
3 through 7.
Late
6
is 6 through 10.
We'll have tickets up shortly for both.
All right.
Well, after the show.
Looking forward to that. We have the contest, Saturday contest, as everybody's leaving us. They can't wait to get out of the studio and get away from me and the Big A. $300 buy-in, Belmont at the Big A contest, cash and seat prizes. And finally, we are on for a long, long time. 1 to 8:30, we're covering here. We're covering Churchill. I think a little Canterbury. You're on late.
Me and the case will be on from 4:50 to 8:30.
Yeah. Well, I'll be covering the early part of that. Yeah. So a lot of coverage today. Anyhow, we do have 2 steeplechase races to start. Yes. We'll and handicap them. They are kind of fun races, and we'll go actually back to the lonesome glory of last year, which is the second race, and Snap Decision will try to win it after being upset by the Mean Queen, but showing it because the Mean Queen is running in the first race. Now you see her at 4 to 5 on the board. She figures to be a super, super short price. And it's funny, and looking at her PPs, Anthony had briefly forgotten that she was the horse that was up by a pole in Saratoga and took the left turn and dumped the rider back in Saratoga. She's been absolutely terrific, and here she is beating Snap Decision. So it's nice to see the Mean Queen. I'm sorry they're not running against each other, but she needs the prep race.
Well, I was just about to say that. It's great to see. I mean, they're the 2 biggest stars in steeplechase racing right now. We get to see them here at the Big A. Last time there was a steeplechase race run here at Aqueduct, Leo O'Brien was the winning jockey. Jockey, not trainer.
It's also fun. I think Peter Pugh rode in that race.
Peter Pugh was in that race. There's one
Kip
other.
Kip Elser rode in the race.
Saw Kip in Saratoga.
Yeah, I see him in Saratoga all the time.
Yeah.
I did not know that he was a jump rider.
I didn't either.
I mean, I've known him, to see him around for so many years, but I'm getting a text and making sure that the show's going out, but it isn't for that. But yeah, no, it was fun. I was looking at different people. Because Joe Clancy did like a history of it, and Joe will be on the American Day at the Races with us today. Was saying Scotty Schulhofer winning a race here riding.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's funny, you think about Leo riding. Jump Rider's now a little bit bigger than Leo.
A couple of the fellas were walking in today.
Saw him. And
Johnny and I were walking in, and they walked past you. And
I forgot there were jump races, and I saw him, I was thinking, they're a little big to be a jockey. And the Nick Santagata said, come on, I'll show you the jocks room. And I said, right. So, race number 3, which will kick off the early pick 5.
By the way, there's a pick 4 from races 1 through 4 today if you want to play those jump races.
Yeah, and there are a couple short prices, not guaranteed winners, but if you want to get involved and add them to your early double, thank you for reminding us that. You have tried a first-time starter here, Unifying.
Yeah, don't know anything here. This is one of the restricted races. Now, you're going to see some different stuff. Belmont at the Big A, you're going to see some different races here. The races are going to be similar to what we would run at Belmont Park. We just moved the condition book over to the Big A. So you're going to see some of these restricted races. This is one of them. Andy, now with the scratch, the horses that have run, the 4 horses that have run, none of them had shown too much speed. And this horse, at least Unifying, first for Belmont, had a strong gate work, at least on paper. The gate works considerably faster than the pole works on paper. I didn't really love anything that had run prior, so I took a little swing with the first one.
Okay, I felt differently about the race. I think that O'Donna is going to be the speed here. Horse who breaks from the outside. We'll take a look at the race she comes out of with a couple other members of this crew where they finished a distant 2nd, 3rd, and 4th beyond the Runaway You Glow Girl, a second-time starter for Brad Cox. We'll show the start of that race, though, and O'Donna just does not get out of the gate well, if we could get to that. And you can see she sort of breaks behind and right away, and then she's moving up. Now, it's kind of too late at this point, but she moves up pretty fastly. I assume with a clean break on the outside, and IRAD, she's supposed to be the speed. So I prefer the ones that ran. I went 7-1-4. You took the first-time starter on top. I thought O'Donna, actually, at least she tried to win. She made that move at breaking slowly. She chased after. She made a real attempt. The other ones were more picking up pieces, and I think she finished 4th in there, 4.5 lengths, or 4 1/4 behind Risk Free and 3 behind Crypto Mama, more because of the trip she had, and they're actually necessarily better horses than her. So I much prefer O'Donna.
I noticed that Buchero stands for 5,000. You think he would have stood for 4,000 if he hadn't gone to Royal Ascot, but that Royal Ascot run got him another 1,000 in the stud bump?
No, they get mad at me on Twitter when I talk about Buchero going to Ascot. They're mad at me on Twitter now about
Jeopardy.
About Jeopardy. Yeah. There's like a Twitter secret police of Jeopardy people.
I think that's going to be my Belmont at the Big A goal, to get people as mad at me as possible about as many things on Twitter as they are at you.
I mean,
you have a perhaps, as Tom Durkin would say, an insurmountable lead at this point. They get on you for everything, man. It's unbelievable. If you told them you led with your left foot instead of your right, you'd get vilified.
These people are insane. They
great.
Really are crazy. They really are. I love they're telling me that I'm being nasty while they're calling me names. Race number 4, a lot of different horses coming out of different races up in Saratoga. No surprise for the non-winners, the 2 New York bred race. We'll start out with the Ghost Giant Ruse Barrage race from last time, and I think Ruse is an hour and a half the horse to beat. I'm getting a little sick and tired of him finishing second, as he has those 4 second-place finishes. But to be fair, he was pretty much too wide last time. This was when the rails were down, and Ghost Giant rode the rail. Great ride from Kendrick until angling out in the stretch. He spent the vast majority of the race on the rail. Barrage obviously ran badly. He'll probably run better today, but he was terrible that day. And I know Ruse lost, but he is as loose as can be today on paper. He is supposed to be in front in this race and play come and catch me, and I'm going to put him on top in here, though I don't have a problem with the horse you have on top.
I took the shot against him. Listen, I couldn't agree more with what you said, and especially the first thing you said. These seconds start piling up now.
No, I agree.
And he's been in this condition for a year.
But he is better than these horses, but
yeah,
I don't disagree.
You know, it's getting tiresome. So I went to the horse that I think has the blue sky and Shutters, who in his 2 starts since the debut, he's been really good. The 2 races, they've come with blinkers since the addition of blinkers, and I just think this horse is getting better. He's gotten better with every start. I think this horse has a little bit of a future. I think he has some talent.
I want to show his last race.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, he ran well in his first race. Well, okay, so we're not going to show the start of. There we go.
Here it is.
He's number 8 horse, and he doesn't break that sharp.
No.
A little bit slow, not a big.
Threw his
deal.
head in the air a little bit.
But he gets himself into sort of a jackpot in the first turn, and you know, kind of running up right now between horses, rank. Horses like this usually don't win,
No.
and he doesn't find much position in there.
And ordinarily, Joel would have, after that break, Joel would have just took him over to the
Well,
rail.
tried.
But he did,
tried.
right.
Did the best he could.
And this horse
Sort
just kind of
hard.
ran up there with
Got
him.
the 2 path. He got him in good position there, but then he had to go 2-3 wide. And, you know, there wasn't a bias in this track. I do think he ran very well. And the horse
Came
he
rolling.
beat, Frontline Dancer, had a much, much better trip than he did. And Frontline Dancer even came back to win, albeit with another unbelievably good trip. I agree. He ran very well.
Yeah.
The problem with it is that David has both these horses at the same price. And I think that Ruse is probably 50% more likely to win than this horse. So if Ruse was 5-2 and this horse was 9-2, I would bet this horse. But if they're the same price, and that was an interesting stat for Chad, and the reason I put it up is that I had to do New York bred race. We don't know if they're New York breds that ran in open company race and won.
Right.
But in general, what this suggests are these are horses that are moving up in class. They're probably horses that are going from maidens to non-winners of 1, non-winners of 1. Now this horse, Shutters, by the way, is in this grouping because he went from a maiden race to a
Right.
non-winners of 1. So it shows that even though with a jump in class, they're winning at almost 1/3%, and their ROI, these are horses that are paying $6.50, 60 cents, and they're winning 1/3 of the time. So they are delivering, and it's hard to see him at that price. I think you would agree. If the public goes hog wild, makes this horse 5-2, you just never know. I don't see how they can, but if they do, he's not very good value. And you always worry
No.
about that with Chad Brown
No,
runners.
but I would imagine, and I know it's Chad and Joel, I know the whole, but I would think that Ruse almost has to be a shorter price than him just because he doesn't have, there's no rival on the
But
front end for him on
the
paper.
argument is that this is a Chad Brown horse off of 2 straight wins.
Yeah, I got it.
In a race where horses aren't. And by the way, I agree with you philosophically. I'm not saying I disagree. When I first looked at
I guess there's a version of Barrage that could be closer, but he hasn't been around since the November
the
layoff.
horse
So,
that I don't really like is the one, and I know we have them both third.
but there's no. Who else?
His last race was bad.
Bad. It was
He
a bad
didn't run
race.
well in that race. That race was falling apart at the end. He looks like he did a lot more running than he did.
And
I'm
you
not
can't
saying
be
he's
happy with the way
hopeless, but-
Barrage ran coming out of that race last
Yeah,
time.
I don't think he's that good.
But
We'll
like
see.
you said, Frontline Dancer keeps pulling these amazing trips and running well. He
I'm going to live and die with a 3 and 7 in
Yeah,
this
me
race.
too.
I'm fine with that. I don't have a problem with that.
Me too.
Race number 5. Another race I'm going to be curious to see if David is right about the line. Actualize and Jester's Song will go way back to 3 back when Actualize ran 3rd and Jester's Song. And I think the biggest difference, if you like Actualize today, and I knew I have him on top, is today he's going to be in front unless he falls down coming out of the gate because he's faster than these. In his last 2 races, he has not been able to get the lead. Today he's supposed to get the lead.
He's running the faster horses in his last 2 races,
But-
and now he's supposed to be in front. I was still
This was a track that was very kind to speed.
Absolutely. He ran with the track and still got beat. Now he also got beat by a horse that's.
While his career fell apart
Yeah.
after that, he did run second in the Bayshore by a
Right.
nose.
Yeah, he was at the time. He was, he was good.
Almost won the Bayshore.
And now, you know what's funny about him, Andy? First time on a fast track today.
Yeah, no, I wrote that down.
Yeah, first time on a fast track, so we'll see. But yeah, he looks like he's supposed to be the controlling speed in here. I know Jester Song. We don't know about the Firster Stealth 34. I know there's a story. There's a story on Jeremiah Englehart's horse, the 5 Lupo's Legacy. The story goes that he ran him on turf first time because he needed to get a race, and that he didn't get the dirt race, didn't go or something. But apparently they like this horse a lot today. I didn't see it.
Okay. Well, I mean, he's a fuzzy in here.
Yeah.
Not for me. He's
only 4-1. David only has him 4-1 on the morning line, so he's
David
a third
likes
choice
him
on
too.
the yeah. Okay.
It's a turf pedigree. It's not. It's not.
I know.
It's not really a dirt pedigree.
Yeah.
But
there's a story that
Okay.
the barn really likes the horse on the dirt today.
okay, so we should throw him in.
I guess. Yeah.
You know, I'm not thrilled with Jester Song.
Problem is there's no real throw out in here.
Well, yeah, there is. Atlantic Dancer's a little hard to make, and I mean, it's a little bit hard to make.
You got him 4th.
Right.
Yeah.
Well.
But yeah, I mean,
don't
he's
want
Lasix,
Cell
he's
34.
gelding. Yeah, I mean, he's hard to make, but and we don't know
Cell
about the
34
Firster.
worked 10 flat last year at the 2-year-old sale. I was going to show it because I have an unbelievably great stalker, some man pretending to be a woman on Twitter, and
Welcome back,
gets
Pack.
really upset.
Belmont at the Big A is off
gets really
to a flying
upset
start.
when I show 2-year-old sales workouts, especially that are a year old. So
yeah, I don't love that move, but if somebody else is against it, I'm with you.
It's basically idiotic. I just do it to give somebody some information. If there's somebody out there that wants to see what the worst works a 2-year-old, I'm happy to show it.
It's basically idiotic, but we're going to do it anyway.
No, we always say it's like it's hard to believe, but it's just it's also part of the conversational tone, so you don't have to look at the 2 idiots up here and you can just watch a horse. The odds that I don't agree with David is Sewell Farrow. Is he really going to be 6-1 in here? Is he really going to be a bigger price than the horse on the outside?
I can't
imagine.
imagine.
I don't understand. If you isolate his dirt races, he ran a good 74 behind Accretive his last dirt race.
And the second start of his life, he ran behind. He was chasing
Behind
early voting.
Chased early voting. Yeah. I mean, honestly, I thought he might fight for favoritism. Now, David's normally right. If David thinks he's 6-1, I doubt he's going to be 5-2.
I thought about picking him. I did think about picking him, but
I think it makes a lot of sense
Yeah.
here. I'm mostly 1s and 4s here. I guess I have to be scared.
I'm with you.
Jester Song can win. I don't know.
if
had
he's
his
going to be that
chances.
price, I don't want. I mean,
And I'll say something else. What exactly has Heeman done wrong in this horse? Obviously, Louis Size is a better rider, but I don't think Heeman rode this horse badly in his races. And I think you got a similar effort for Louis last time, and it's not like he didn't like a wet track. He ran one of his better races.
Yeah.
Race number 6, big field. This is a fun race
break
here.
after this.
We will break after 6. So I don't like the collaboration race, except I like one horse out of the race. I only want Sweetest Princess from this race. And we'll show the start with Sweetest Princess because she just loses all chance. She jumps up at the start and she's way behind. So she has a rush to get up there, so I'll forgive her. The rest of them, I thought Smoky Eyes hung like a chandelier. Collaboration ran fine. I don't think it was that good a race. I prefer horse at other races plus Sweetest Prince. I was going to go 4-8 or 8-4. I went 4-8 in here. The only one I want out of this race, though, is Sweetest Princess. I mean, I thought Smoky Eyes, for a 5-2 favorite, first time out,
she's 3 wide on a racetrack.
No, she wasn't. She was too wide around the racetrack. She angled out in the stretch, and she hung like a chandelier. She really did not run particularly well in here. I think she is far less likely to win than her uncoupled
I love her
stablemate.
today.
Okay.
Race
Well,
under
it's
her
119.
belt.
It's 119.
Yeah.
I'll bet you 2 lunches, the 8 beats the 7.
Deal.
Okay. What's good about her?
I thought she ran
slow
well.
race
I thought she ran well
and a good
first
trip.
time. I don't think she had a good trip.
Wow. Okay.
I
I
don't
hope
think
I
she
bet
had
a
a
lot
good
of
trip.
horses that get her a bad trip.
I didn't say she had a bad trip. I said I don't think she had a good trip. She didn't see any of the iron. I thought she was a little wider than you did.
The rails
and
were
I
out.
just didn't think she. I didn't. I think she's going to improve off that effort. I like the fact that she has the race under her belt now.
I think she has a chance to fall off the Super, so I'm not completely against her, but I don't like
Sick.
I
Love it.
just don't like her. I prefer Orange Freeze because Orange Freeze and Burn Again was. By the way, I also want to point out that Burn Again. Look at this. the
Burning
gaze-
Honor.
Burnt Again. No,
Burnt
the 5
Again.
was
Burnt
three
Again,
was
okay.
3 wide around the track this day, and this was the inner turf when the rails were down, and this was a big inside bias. So Burnt Again was against the track.
She took a lot of money this day too, coming off just 15 days, wheeling right back in about 2 weeks. She took a ton of money in this race.
Orange Freeze was too wide. She got to the rail in the turn, but she angled out 2-3 wide, tried to rally in the stretch. This was a super slow pace by a race that was one wire to wire, and I thought Orange Freeze tried to make a run into it. I dramatically prefer her to the other Clement horse. I am 4-8, and I'm going to sort of live and die with them.
I'm 7-3, and I'm kind of living on that. I thought Collaboration, you know, Linda Förster gets to the lead. I know she set pretty soft fractions, but, you know, these horses normally improve second time out, and I would imagine this horse, this filly will.
Don't the ones that improve, though, usually come off of bad efforts?
Oh.
You should see how this printout came. It's
I wonder if that's the case because they usually need one, and I wonder if that's applauded for her that she ran as well as she did first time out.
Yeah, I would think it's a negative, but I'm going to throw Sweet Blush in there. I'll use her as a backup. Actually, she's a big price. It's after Grafton, who not really a dirt horse, but there is a turf horse, but there is some turf pedigree in this horse, and this horse got bet a little first time.
Paid a lot of money
Sweet
for
Blush.
200,000.
Yeah, I'm going to throw her in as a bit of a fuzzy in there because it's not like any of the horses ran that well. That's the first 6. The late pick 4 after a quick break.
For almost 150 years, the Saratoga name has been synonymous with the finest quality, sustainably sourced spring water available anywhere. Saratoga carries on the rich tradition of its forefathers by crafting each stunning blue glass bottle with the same attention to detail and care that has been its hallmark for generations. Visit SaratogaSpringwater.com today or ask for us by name at your local market or restaurant. Saratoga Spring Water. Make every day exquisite.
Welcome back to Talking Horses. I guess that Sarah Water is still a sponsor. We need some bottled water.
Yeah.
Nobody's told me on that. We got to get that straightened out, but we appreciate their support. He's Anthony. I'm Andy. Race number 7. Thought race number 7 was an absolutely wide open race, but saying it's wide open, the horse that you and I have second here, Mrs. Green, is the horse to beat. Her last race was sensational. Now, horses have come back and not run great out of that race, but it's a very tiny sample size. She ran a huge race when she lost to Crowding Out because she did all the dirty work in there, and Crowding Out got a perfect trip, and she backed it up with this performance. I found a stat for Linda. She does not have good numbers coming off of maiden wins in turf sprints, and that scares me a little bit. It's why I put her second, but I don't think you can say she's not the horse to beat.
No, I agree. She's definitely the horse to beat. Off that effort, she runs that race. I mean, she's in all likelihood going to win today.
Well, it depends if somebody steps up. But I didn't find the stat. She's 1 for 6 at horses that were 5-2 or less with an 86-cent ROI. So,
and this horse figures to be short today.
Oh yeah, she should be. But there's a lot of different things going on here. Now, I think the one Tuscan Queen is going to take some money. She can win without me.
You a fan? Yeah, I feel the same way as you do.
She got the ride that she got from Jose last time. I mean, she makes up so much ground by staying inside the turn. I mean, look where she is, and they cut the corner, and she finds herself right in the race. This is the old, like the Joel Rosario move. And she just got the greatest trip to suck up. Now, to be fair, didn't Freedom Speaks win a stake at Kentucky Downs? She definitely won at Kentucky Downs. It may have been a stake. Or it could have been just like a $800,000 allowance raise or something. The money is exciting, but horses ship there and don't show up like Big Invasion, unfortunately. She was flattered by the winner of this race, so I think that's fair. But still, I don't know, man. I thought Jose gave her such a good ride last time.
She is, she's interesting in here for the simple fact that you have a couple of horses in the race. You have a handful of horses in the race. Horse you put on top.
Well, she's a logical horse because the rest of them are fuzzies.
Correct. The rest of them are fuzzies,
right.
exactly right.
And
she's a turf sprinter.
No, I don't think that the 8 Miss Taparazo's a fuzzy, but the worry with Miss Taparazo, she might be as good a horse there is in the race, but I don't like these kind of turnbacks. And I'm not saying she won't end up being effective as a sprinter and I would use her, but I don't want to pick horses like this on top, even though I picked one with a similar look, but for another reason, she'll be a much bigger price. I think Miss Taparazo's going to take a lot of money here.
Me too. I would prefer, of the cutbacks, the 7 Seduce, who's going to be a much bigger price. She dirt sprinted, and I know she ran, it was a slow race, but at least she has some sprint experience. And she's going to be
any good.
She's going to be a big number, Andy.
Well, she should be.
Yeah,
okay.
I guess.
All right, fine. So what is the story with Icy Stare Down?
I went to Icy Stare Down. Listen, I know she's a frosted. Second dam was Wonder Woman, who was 2 for 2 for 3 on the grass.
Dan was not good, though.
No, Dan was not much. I'm just hoping that,
Frosty.
well, listen, I wanted a little bit of a fuzzy in here.
Well, but isn't she going to get bet a little bit off dirt form?
She might.
That's the problem with her.
She
Okay. I took a shot with the 4 in this race, Join the Dots, who got just an insane trip last time in her first race in the turf. And she actually never stopped running. And I think there's a fair argument that was the actual best race that she's ever run. She was 4 wide in the first turn, 3 wide in the second turn. Now, the rails weren't down anymore, but still. And she never really gave up with a crazy wide trip in that race. And I think it's interesting that Chug cuts her back in the sprint. I guess maybe he's checking off the boxes. Maybe it's a somewhat desperation move. But given how wide she was last time, I think you can upgrade her performance and make her fig higher. She's going to be a big price, and I think she ran well enough first time on the turf to give her one more chance.
She's burned an awful lot of money. I think you could
has.
argue if the turf race was her best, her second best was her maiden win.
Yeah.
And the maiden win was going 7/8. So everything else has been a mile or longer. And yeah, I mean, maybe it makes sense. She's going to be a big price too, so it's hard to really. I wouldn't knock anybody in here, especially a filly like her.
No, this is a very, very tough race.
It's a tough race.
Like, I'm not, Tuscan Queen can win. I'm just, at a shortish price, I'm not thrilled, but she can win. I agree. Listen, your horse is not impossible. Listen, Get the Candy is loose in this race. But it is interesting, and it's worth noting, the rails are out 18 and 24 feet, 24 on the outer and 18 on the inner. Normally, when we come to Aqueduct, it's in November, and the rails are down.
Right.
And you deal with that on both courses, and you deal with gold rails on the inside on both courses. Now they're way out.
We've
so
seen it like 3 or 4
likelihood
years
of
in a row now,
of a bias is pretty insignificant at this point. But Skate the Candy is loose. I just don't think she's good enough, and last time was the time for her. Race number 8. I am not surprised to see the scratch of Money Supply. I was surprised the horse was dropping, to be honest with you. I mean, the question in this race is whether or not Hometown, and we'll go back to the opening of Belmont. I watched this race, I believe I watched this race on the train heading to Boston before I went to the Derby. And this is when he finished, he won. Oh wait, no, he finished second to First Captain, who's not a bad horse. But the question is, does that Hometown exist at any level anymore?
Those last 2 races are just appalling.
They're awful.
Now, I was picking him against Money Supply.
Yeah, good call.
But I was picking him against Money Supply as the considerable second choice.
I wish he
And
did
now he's
some
going to be
running
favored.
last time. He'd run well in wet tracks before, so that wet sealed track last time you'd think he would have handled, but it was still a kind of, as you would say, fugazi track.
Yeah,
It was a weird track. It was, and that's one of the reasons I think Money Supply didn't, deserve an excuse for that race. I get it. I don't want him. He can win.
You picked the only other horse. I mean, after the scratches, you kind of picked the only other horse you could.
I agree.
Kind of take.
I agree.
Or you wanted the fuzzy would hang tight a little bit. I had hang tight 4th. I mean, the only other horse you could pick in the race now is Major Spin.
Well, I have Emperor's Cause, Zuzudini. No, I like Major Spin in here. Getting back to the dirt for. Ooh.
That was loud.
Yeah, it just popped up in your ear. Now it's working. Anyway, I like Major Spin. I think his dirt races are fine. Ran against much better horses. Pace kind of came apart in his last dirt race. Goes turf to dirt. Turf to dirt for Linda. She's 19% with a 205 ROI, so she does okay in those situations. And I've got him because, like you say, he's the other horse.
3s and 6s, right? Where else are you going to go here?
Well, I don't know. What if Major Spin isn't really that effective? What if his 64 buyer is more indicative? What if Hometown can't run? You going to tell me the Zuzudini and Emperor's Cause can't win here? They can win.
I guess.
Uncle Waterflow is a little tough to make. Storied Fella is a little tough to make. I think the other 2 can win.
Okay.
Now, the 9th race, Truancy. It's an interesting thing about Truancy's last race, and we'll show it, in that there is a strong argument the rail was dead. This horse was right on the rail. Sometimes, odd as it may seem, the first races are run in some sort of isolated bubble that has no relation to the rest of the card. So it's hard to believe this horse was running on a dead rail. It just is. But if you look through the rest of the card and you look at the races, there is a very strong case you do not want to be on the rail, at least in the stretch. I don't know, man. I think this horse is pretty good, Anth.
I do too.
Ran to a buzzsaw first time out. While she came back to win, and she even ran well in the stake in the Fleet Indian. She really ran well in her return race when she broke her maiden.
She did.
I don't. Who am I supposed to take against this horse?
No. She's going to have to deal with 40 Smooth on the front end. She's going to have to deal with 40 Smooth.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, she's got to stretch out now. Off the last effort, I don't think the extra furlong. I mean, she did not beat much last time. She did it the right way, but she did not beat much.
No, but listen, I don't love betting on these horses off maiden wins, as you know. And Barclays,
Right, I know. I'm actually a little surprised you picked her. But
well, the only other horse I could pick was Captain's Daughter, because I do think that Gomez made a mistake with her last time. She broke well, and he just dragged her out of the race. So he did not give her a chance. And she does have some races that give her a chance. So I'm going to have a little bit of Captain's Daughter as a backup. The rest of them are going to beat me. I'm going to a 5 and a little back of a 7. Sweet Mystery, who you have second, will show her last race. Did she run okay in the context of that race? Yes. She also lost to Valalua. And
I know.
I'm happy that Jackie won, and it was one of the more exciting moments in the winner's circle with the Davis family. But she's still Valalua, and she's a tough horse to make. And if she was in this field, you'd go, well, I don't like her. So
What about Karamoka?
She doesn't win.
I know she doesn't win, but I thought she was a little interesting, maybe just running into form. She had some races in the fall last year.
She's not impossible.
Over at Belmont.
She's not races. It all depends on truancy. If truancy runs the race that she's kind of supposed to run, she's going to win this race, in all likelihood. I don't think that, I think the 1, 2, and 6 are all fuzzies behind them, and I'm going to put Mia Be a Star second, third, because she's the biggest price. And I know she ran poorly last time, but she was favored. Maybe she saw her odds on the board and said, I only run at a big price. And it's Randy Persaud. You're going to hold one good race for him or one bad race against him.
Right. No.
There's a lot of randomness there.
Yeah, a lot of randomness.
I'm not against truancy. I don't.
It's hard.
Love truancy, but I'm not against. I just think truancy might be okay. And I don't usually feel that way, but I thought she ran well.
The problem is, David has her 8 to 5.
Oh,
I think she's more close to the even money.
Yeah, I mean, she feels like a 6 to 5. I agree.
4 to 5.
Yeah, no, I agree. Off a big maiden win, and the other thing is, there's nobody else in the
there's
race that you're
nobody
going. I want
your
her,
whistle.
right?
Right.
If you don't like her, like you say with Karamoka, you can make cases for a lot of horses in the race.
Yeah.
So the 10th race is really a bizarre race, and we'll start out with Rugged Union 2 back. And listen, Starry Night's run well since then. Last time got caught up in a fast pace, but the horses were on the pace, didn't come back and run well. I won't be surprised if this horse wins, and I know that you love nothing more than the Danny Gargan to Gary Siaka trainer switch. Sorry, Gary.
I can't even make fun of Gary that much. Gary gave me my hip was really bugging me in Saratoga.
Gary's a good guy. We make fun of him because he's a good guy.
Gary buzzed me around.
By the way,
in
Gary makes fun of everybody,
yes,
so Gary deserves a little abuse. He makes fun of everybody, and he can take it. He's
this horse
tough.
can absolutely win, but you want this horse at a short price.
Well, that's the problem. I don't want this horse at a short price, and like smart.
David has this horse morning line favorite.
Smart Joker on the rail is 4 to 1. Okay, let's look at Smart Joker's race 2 back. What happened last time, and why do we think Smart Joker? And I'm going to show you a stat for Smart Joker after this. Why do we think this horse is going to be a sprinter? And this horse is going to take money. I wouldn't bet a nickel on.
He better be a sprinter.
Right, I wouldn't bet a nickel on this horse. Will I be shocked when this horse beats me? Of course not. Yeah. But I don't want any part of this horse. It's a collapse in a bad race. And Kimmel has horrifically bad numbers off of turnbacks in the turf. He's 1 for 20 overall with 5 hitting the board, and with maiden cutting back in turf sprints from Rouse's sprints, he's 0 for 10 with 0 hitting the board. This one's all yours at a short price. And then the horse that you have on top, Empire Ridge, who I bet last time, and he did have a ridiculous wide trip last time, I don't disagree. And his first 2 races, his sprints were good, I get it.
That's it.
But are you at all convinced that he's still a racehorse?
No. But
I prefer him of the horses that make sense.
I have to make a pick.
Yeah.
We have to make a pick in this race.
That's why I made the pick I made.
Well, there you go.
Well, there are 2...
Happy birthday, Jose Gomez, by the way.
Oh. Okay, happy birthday. It's Bobby Klatt's birthday yesterday,
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I gave him $1,000. What'd you give him?
Less than that.
I did not. I'm lying. Bobby is one of our producers and a wonderful person.
Yes, he is.
So the one that'll take more money probably is the 10 Kimbo Dancer. I'm not this rider. I understand a big price, but he is over 49. Though, given the ride this horse got last time, it probably can't be a worse ride, because Sean Bridgman had this horse out in the 50 path throughout the run of the race. Now, maybe he's a hard horse to hold, which isn't going to help the rider. He did run against some better horses last time out. I don't know. He is a fuzzy, and I'm going to throw him in. But I think Island Man is a horse that if you start to dissect his form, he may not be that bad. Look at the horses that he was running against in his last 2 turf sprints.
Yep.
He did run 4th in one of them at 51 to 1. Are you sure that race doesn't give him a chance?
No.
He has races last year that give him a chance. He was running against horses that are a different galaxy. And
now,
I
listen,
understand.
You want to go find a fuzzy in here. Be my guest.
Yeah, that's what it is. And I
Be
think
my guest.
there are races, I'll put it this way. Island Man has races that are as good as the 1, the 5, and the 7, and is going to be 5 or 6 times the price. And if ever, as you say, you want to race with a fuzzy, this is it. We are done.
Oh, you could blame Andy. The late pick 5 ticket just went from $36 to $45.
Well, you got to throw that
We're
horse.
throwing Andy's Island Man in the
You got to throw
last
that, right?
leg.
I mean, you got to
Yeah.
throw that a bomb. You got to have some
You
dumb
sold me.
horses in there. Anyway, head over to Naira Bets. This is Anthony's favorite promo. Match 200. We'll match you at $200 of your initial
Can I get a
deposit.
printout of this thing?
Yeah, I'm gonna wallpaper my office with it.
This is exciting.
Head over to Naira Bets. Play with Naira Bets. We've got this is great. $20,000 pick 5 bonus. $10,000 if you to split in the first. By the way, Steve Christ, I think, told me he made a big score in the. It's one of very few people that had it in Naira Bets. One of the ones in Saratoga.
Nice.
Yeah, and you can for early and late 10 each. Great way to start out. The Belmont at
That's
the Big A
cash,
meets.
by the way. That's not points.
Real
That's
cash. Big cash dollars.
Cash money.
$300 buy-in. Saturday's the Big A. And last but not least, America's Day at the Races. It's going on just all day and all night long. I'm on the first 4. You're on the second 4.
Yep.
That's it. We're done.
See you tomorrow.
All right.
Oh, you'll
I'll
hand
see
it
you
off
later.
to me tonight
I'll see you
upstairs.
later.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Look forward to it. You have a great day. Opening day here of Belmont at the Big A. Been a long time since anyone's been at Belmont at this time of the year, and we're starting out with a couple of jump races.
Aqueduct, too.
I hope somebody asks Leo O'Brien to come out and give the trophy for the Lonesome Glory.
Oh, no, there's somebody special's giving out the trophy today.
Are you doing it?
No.
Oh,
I said special.
you're special. See you later. We're done.
For almost 150 years, the Saratoga name has been synonymous with the finest quality, sustainably sourced spring water available anywhere. Saratoga carries on the rich tradition of its forefathers by crafting each stunning blue glass bottle with the same attention to detail and care that has been its hallmark for generations. Visit SaratogaSpringwater.com today or ask for us by name at your local market or restaurant. Saratoga Spring Water. Make every day exquisite.